All right. How's everybody doing? We okay today? Everybody okay? I believe this is episode 5 of The One That Got Away. I hope you guys enjoy this. I don't have my mic, so I hope the sound is okay. I'm going to speak louder than normal, I think. This is a story where this might be maybe the craziest, one of the wildest first dates you've ever heard. This story, all right? And it doesn't start with the first date. It starts with, there was a restaurant close to where I live that called me up to refurbish their front door, and I did a bunch of other custom carpentry in there. And a woman who's a chef saw the work and asked about me, presumably because she might have wanted some work done as well. And she sent me a friend's request on Facebook, and I didn't know who she was, so I asked, "Who are you? Why are you contacting me?" And that's what it was about, and I accepted it. Beautiful, beautiful in the face, right? Blue eyes, blonde hair, great smile, a little bit of a puffy face, and all of her pictures were just of her face. And you know what that means, right? It's just you're trying to figure out on a scale of, how fat is she, is basically what you're thinking. When all the girls' pictures are just of her head, that could be a problem. She happens to be a Greek person, a Greek woman, blue eyes, blonde hair. And I accepted the friend's request. She started sending me notes. We started going back and forth, and she was real cool. She had a great sense of humor. It was funny, fun, and she seemed like she was interested in me, but I'm not. You guys know how I am. I'm not a chubby chaser, really. So, whatever. We exchanged phone numbers because she seemed cool, and she was coming at me from a position of, maybe I can get some work, whether she needed it or somebody else. She's, throwing all these accolades on me for my talent, right? My carpentry skills. I got accolades from her for other skills later down the road. You know what I'm saying? At any rate, we're talking, and she's cool, and there's a lot of innuendo and all this stuff. But right from the jump, when I'm talking to her, I said it right out. I said, "So how fat are you?" She goes, "What do you mean?" She had a good sense of humor. So all your pictures are of just your face. And, so that's making me think that you're embarrassed about your figure or something, or you're super hot and you don't want to put that out there. There's a thing that's going on right now. Allow me to go off on a tangent for a quick moment here. I know a lot of women that are pretty, and they don't like the attention that they get from men because they're pretty, so they consciously make themselves uglier on purpose just because they don't like attention from men. And I just think that's a dumb thing to do. If you're doing that, you should learn a different way to deal with that. A man approaches you, just tell him, "Hey, fuck off." Very simple. Not interested in you. Leave me alone. Something. But you're lucky. You're lucky if you're pretty. All right? You guys know the story with me, with my dad. I was about 9 years old. My mom was a freaking train wreck. And I asked my dad, "Dad, why did you marry Mom?" And he looks at me, he goes, "Son, life is tough. It's tougher if you're ugly." So he said, I'm not saying I'm a good looking guy. I'm just saying this is what my dad told me. And he said, my mom was really attractive. So he said, "I wanted to marry an attractive woman to have kids with because I wanted to have kids. And I wanted their life to be a little bit easier." And that's the way the world is. You might not like it, but that's the reality of it. Jump back to this story. We start talking on the phone. We get along fine, but I'm not that interested. She took that, when I made that comment to her, she just made a joke and didn't really address it, as I recall. This is a long time ago, by the way. I know when this was. It was 2010. And I can tell you exactly why I know that. Well, you'll find out as the story progresses. What happened was, we got to be friendly on the phone, and that's all I thought about it, and I wasn't thinking about it, and I was working. Pardon me. And one Saturday, I worked all day. I got up early in the morning. I came over here. I worked my ass off. I got home, and I was worn out. I was on my feet all day till about 6 o'clock. I went home. I'm laying around, smoked a little grass. It's probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like that. And I get this phone call from this woman. And she is badgering me into going to meet her out. And I told her, so I am not in the mood to go out. But at the time, I was riding motorcycles. I had a Triumph Thruxton at that point. I'd already totaled my Triumph Bonneville. I should have been dead on that a few times from motorcycle wrecks. Now I had the Thruxton, which is a cafe racer with clip-ons, right? So I'm laying around and she's trying to talk me into this, and she's like, I've been out at this event all night. I'm all dressed up. I wanted to have some fun tonight, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, it was close. It was, I forget the name of it, but there's an Italian restaurant bar up on Franklin, right across the street from the Scientology building. The Tamarind Theater is there. I used to work at the Tamarind Theater back in the 90s. I was an actor there. I also worked on productions there. I used to do lights and sound and all that. I knew the block very well. There's a restaurant still there called Birds. I was there when it opened. I knew the lady that owns it, presumably still, which is a crazy story. She was a waitress, and this rich guy fell in love with her, married her, and bought her a restaurant. Only in LA, right? So I used to hang there a lot in the 90s. She talks me into it. I get on the bike, I ride up there, I park a few streets over, I walk up. It's my first time seeing her. Remember, I have this impression of her with this fat head she's got, right? So she is wearing, I guess the way to describe it is a flapper dress, like from the 20s. So it only comes to like just about above the knee. It's gold, and there's rows of like hanging stuff, a row, hanging stuff, a row. I can't describe it. I'm not a female. I'm not a cross dresser. I know it's not gold lame. I know that word. That's about as gay as I get right there. The word lame, gold lame. But that, you move and the stuff shimmies. The problem is like she was fit into it like a sausage in a casing. You understand what I'm saying? She wasn't blubbery fat. She didn't have some big giant thing. She was just like this. And the dress was a little snug on her. Not a little, a lot, But, and I saw it. It's not the first time I walk up to a situation where I was like, you guys, I know I told the story in another video, but it is a good one that got away story, even though, the one that got away is just a way to hook you to watch the video. This has happened to me multiple times. You go out and you meet somebody and you're like, I am not going to be into this. But being the gentleman that I am, I agreed to go up there, right? And I see her. I'm like, okay. We go into this bar, and it was really funny talking about it now because that was 2010. And at that time, I felt a little bit old for the crowd. And it's one of those things. This is like, what do mopeds and fat chicks have in common? They're both a lot of fun to ride, but you don't want your friends to see you on one. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm out in public, and I order a Guinness. She gets a beer. But the conversation is great. It's a great conversation. We're getting along. She's fun. She's funny. Bright-eyed. She's very pretty. And I got it. Look, I am a sucker for a pretty face, man. Period. That's just typical dude, right? I didn't even finish my beer. I felt uncomfortable in the establishment. I think part of it was just how she looked to me at that moment. I don't know what it was. I've already said enough things here to make me sound like a jerk. I'm just being honest. So I said, let's get out of here. Let's go for a walk. Now, this is a big block. This isn't like a typical block in a little neighborhood. If you walk out to Franklin, walk to the corner, and walk up, it's like, I don't even know. It might be 2 football fields long or longer. It's very, that doesn't sound far, but it's very long to go up to, I actually forget the name of the street that's up there. But at any rate, we walk all the way up that, across that, all the way back down, and she's parked over here. And it's a great conversation. She's cracking me up. I'm cracking her up. We're getting along fine. I know I sound like a jerk, but I'm actually a pretty nice guy, right? So we're having a good time. We get to her car. We get in the car. We're sitting in there. We're talking. And it's after midnight, probably about 12:30, something like that, close to 1 in the morning. And I am wiped, man. As I told you, I've been working all day. I smoked some grass. I just drank a Guinness. And she's nice, but I'm not feeling it like that. And I kind of just want to go home. And I say that to her. I'm like, look, I'm kind of tired. I think it's time for, it's over. I'm done. And she looks at me and she says, well, I don't have my daughter tonight. And I'd really like to have a good time. So, because sometimes with me, you got to hit me over the head, ladies. You kind of got to hit me over the head with, hey, I want it and I want it now. Because I'm not thinking in those terms. Believe it or not. Like, I know most guys, especially younger guys, that's what you think is going on all the time. We're just trying to get laid. When I was young, sure. But now, even 20 years, this is 2010 is, what is that? That's 16 years ago. 16 years ago already, I was at the point where I could take it or leave it, man. I don't really care that much. So that's where I was at. And again, she wasn't kind of my thing, at least at that moment in time. And but she convinced me, right? So she's like, and I'm like, okay. I mean, if you're making it that obvious, if you want it that bad, I can muster up the motivation to hit it, right? Fine. It's like the old days. Made me feel young again, right? So, and that was 16 years ago. How do you think I feel now? Okay. I tell her how to get to my pad. Go over to Gower, make a left, go all the way down till it ends. It ends at Melrose, make another left. I tell her what street to make a right on and everything, and I'll meet you there. She drops me off at the motorcycle and she goes. I get on the bike. I go down Gower. There's a red light at Hollywood Boulevard. I'm waiting. Light turns green. And in LA, it's probably like this in a lot of cities. When the light turns green, if there was cars sitting here that had to make a left-hand turn, let's say, you might see 2 to 3 cars make that left-hand turn on red. So the people who have the green light, they wait for a couple seconds for that to happen. That's a normal occurrence in the city. It's not legal, but it's a normal occurrence. And that's what happens. 2 cars make the turn, I go. They're going, I get right behind them. We're just south of Hollywood Boulevard. I mean, they just cross the corner and both cars pull over like they're going to park. So I want to give them a wide berth and I go into the middle turn lane and gun it. And just when I do that, the front car pulls a U-turn right in front of me. And it's funny how my brain works anyhow in those circumstances because I slow down time. And I think it all out. And I realize if I hit her like this, I'm going to go over the handlebars. And at this point, I was kind of starting to go towards the oncoming traffic. And she was trying to pull a U-turn to beat the cars that were coming up in this direction. And as I'm doing that, I'm steering with her to give me a fraction of a second more time to keep thinking. Like that was a process going on in my brain. And at the last moment, I chose to put the bike down. So I put the bike down and I ended up doing a face shoulder plant into the driver door. Kabam, right? She stops obviously and I'm laying like this and she's trying to open the door and it's hitting my head and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I realize both my wrists are broken, but I don't know how bad it is at the moment. Actually, I didn't even know this one was broken, but this hand is dangling. This hand's just dangling there. And I get up and I grab it. So I pull out on it to spin it around and try to reset my hand. And I realize that the radius bone is gone. It's pulverized. I feel at my thumb, there's no bone there anymore. And that's when I realize this one's broken. So I do this. That car backs up like, boom, like she wants to drive away. There's 2 girls. Big surprise, right? Women drivers. So 2 women, they switch seats. And I walk over and I sit on the hood of the car like this, holding my hand up. There's a bunch of people around. This is right at Hollywood Boulevard on Gower. Fire trucks show up. The police show up. The ambulance shows up. I tell the cop, take my phone out of my pocket and dial this number. So he calls her. She's already at my house. So she comes over to pick me up because the cop said to me, well, she was going to come over and check me out anyhow, but the cop said, look, if you go in, or I think the ambulance people or the fire people said to me, hey, if you go in the ambulance, it's going to cost you a lot of money. If somebody else takes you to the emergency room, you just saved a bunch of money. So she agreed to take me to the hospital. I will tell you, as far as the accident went, it was her fault 100%. It was really funny. There was a male and female officers. I was dealing with the male, and the female was talking to the girls, and I kept hearing that officer say over and over again to the females, the drivers in the car. Okay, explain that to me again so it makes sense, because they were 100% in the wrong, right? Okay, so this my date now. This is a first date, crazy first date, right? She takes me to whatever that emergency room is, a Kaiser over there on Sunset. We get in there. By now it's like 1:30 in the morning, something like that, and we have to wait until 7:30 in the morning until this specialist can come in. There's nothing really else they could do for me other than give me some pain meds. But they're kind enough to put me in a separate room all by myself. And she stayed with me all night. Now, here's the kicker. First date, first time ever hanging out with her. I don't know how to put this without it sounding crude. So I'll just tell it like it is. She basically just kept her hand on my dick the entire time. Like just the whole, just keep it, just, and this is what made me think, like, maybe I can get past the weight a little bit. Maybe the weight isn't so bad. This is a giving, fun, funny person that's beautiful. Like, that was a, how many guys that are married whose wife would do that for them in the hospital? You know what I'm saying? And this is a first friggin' date, and she's Greek, and I'm thinking this. Okay, maybe she's turning the thing in my brain. You know, I mean, it's now here's the really crazy thing: is she got to see me in Mike Z mode, which, you know, a lot of people have seen me do some crazy stuff. Not that this is all about me patting myself on the back like I'm some sort of badass or something. But the guy comes in the morning, the specialist, and they bring this contraption over. It's a metal stand, and it's got like a wire. It's got this thing hanging, all these metal finger cuffs, and they put it on all 5 fingers. And then there's a counterweight, and that goes on your elbow here. And it's putting the wrist in traction. And so he's doing that. He's pulling up here, pulling down there, and he's trying to manipulate the mush that's in my wrist. And I'm just like this. Oof. Okay. And it takes him several minutes to do that. She's right here next to me watching the whole thing. And the doctor says, he goes, "Hey, I've been doing this for 17 years. He says, this is the quickest I've ever been able to do this. He says, you're about the toughest guy I've ever seen in this situation. He says, this normally can take me up to a half hour to do because people are yelling, screaming, crying, begging me to stop, and everybody's like, dude, you barely made a sound. Congratulations." So, you know, we're on this first date. She knows a lot about me at this point, which, you know, made her keep coming around afterwards. And then she knows I'm so that was like in her brain, and she thinks I'm talented and all this stuff. So we had this kind of thing. I did mention she's a chef, so she really helped me out with going food shopping, and she was cooking some food for me at first, everything else. This was a period of time, too, where just prior to this, probably less than a year, I had been burned several times where I let myself fall in love, and it was all a bunch of lying whores, every single one of them. I'm just being honest. They were liars and fucking other dudes the whole thing, man. And I was just like, okay, I've had enough of it. And then another incident had just happened not long before that, which wasn't any fun. So I was kind of sworn off women at that point for a while. But now I'm home with 2 broken wrists, and I'm not a pill popper. I don't like taking pain pills, but if I've been injured multiple times, I've had a lot of surgeries. I always have to recover on my own and all that. And when I'm going through that, I will allow myself to drink some Jack Daniels, smoke a little weed, and take some pain pills. It's a fun place to be for about a week. And I don't have the addictive personality. So I'm going through that, and a bunch of other women started coming out of the woodwork to help me. And those are all really interesting stories, but we're not going to talk about them right now. We're going to stick on this one. So we are hanging out, and this ended up lasting for quite some time, but we weren't a thing. We would just kind of get it on. The problem was she had this personality flaw, which was she was really, really egocentric. I mean, she really thought that she was something. And I've seen this before with women that are very pretty, but now like physically not so much, because when they were younger, they got so much coming at them that they used just because they were attractive. She didn't realize now she was at an age where that's not there for her anymore. but she was still thinking that way. She also was all about her own self-promotion to the point where she used everybody in her life. And I got to see this evolve over time. It was not a pleasant attribute of hers, so I didn't like it. But man, I got to tell you, other than this right here, cute feet, cute hands, great skin, pretty fun, a lot of fun in the sack. I mean, a lot of fun. She really did it for me there, except for her, she was self-conscious about it. So she always like wear something that could bunch up in the midsection. So I never got her totally naked. It was really weird because she was overweight. She wasn't healthy. She was always sweating. That wasn't good. But there was something about her that really worked for me, man. Like, it was crazy, but I couldn't get past the personality thing, man. She kept doing this to me, and she would try to talk me into doing things for people she knew at a cut rate deal, telling me, hey, if you do this, this person is wealthy, they're going to give you all this other work. It's going to be worth it to you. Never, not once did that happen. The one good thing she did do was she talked me into making a cutting board for her, which turned into a big deal for me that did generate a lot of income for me. I don't make them anymore, but here's a glue up one I got to finish up. I got a few of these I got to give to some people. And these are much smaller. I was making them over 2 inches thick, much wider than this. I had a handle shaped into the center that poked out. Some of you guys remember them. A lot of people bought them. They were I was selling those for like $350 plus shipping. It was over the top, but I probably made 50 or more of those. So she pushed me and nudged me on that, and so that was a good thing. At any rate, that's the story. Eventually, it got to the point where I just couldn't hang out around her anymore because she was trying to use me and my ability to make herself look good to other people to benefit herself. She was using me as a tool, and that it was obvious. And so that's it. I talked to her not long ago, actually, a few years ago, and she said that she dropped like 70 pounds, 70 or 80 pounds. And I could only imagine, because she was short, so she probably looked super hot. I mean, you drop 70, 80 pounds, you're this tall, and you have all the other stuff going on. That could have been it right there. But talking to her, again, after not talking to her for 10 or 12 years, right away, first thing, and that's the reason why she contacted me, was she wanted me to do something for somebody for nothing. And the way she even approached me with it was, hey, I got this job here and we're willing to pay you this much for it. And then I looked at what the job was and I said, well, yeah, I can't do that. She goes, well, I called another guy and he's willing to do it for this much. If you could do it for that much, I could get you this job. I'm like, hey, you called me. I'm not calling you looking for work. What are you doing? She's like, yeah, but if you come over here and you do this job, it can lead to more stuff. It's the same playbook, man. It was all about making herself look good. Look who I know. Well, I know this guy, and that's going to ingratiate herself to the people she's working for. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Fucking bullshit artist, and I don't like that shit. So that's it. Story of the One That Got Away, episode 5. And, I mean, even her kid doesn't talk to her. That'll tell you something. At any rate, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm trying to do this one quick. I hope it's okay. No mic and everything else. I'm going to try to get some work done today. I'll catch you all in the next one. Be kind to one another. I've got a lot of these stories. I'll catch you in the next one.